Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're going deep today
Uh-huh.
into the world of critical minerals.
All right.
These are the elements that are super important for clean energy.
Yeah.
So we're talking solar panels,
Right.
wind turbines,
Mm-hmm.
and especially electric vehicle batteries.
Absolutely.
Everyone's talking about those.
For sure.
To guide our deep dive,
Okay.
we're going to be looking
Mhm.
at the International Energy Agency's report.
Okay.
It's called the Global Critical Minerals Outlook
I know that report.
from 2024.
Yeah.
So this is going to be pretty interesting, I think.
It is a very fascinating report. It
Yeah.
brings together so many different things.
Like what?
Well, it's got, technology and policy and economics
Oh, wow.
all across the world.
Yeah.
And it's all driven by
Yep.
this need to decarbonize,
Yeah.
get rid of all the carbon.
Right.
We got to do it.
Totally.
It's urgent.
Yeah. And whether you are someone who's prepping for a meeting on renewables,
Okay.
or you're just daydreaming about that new electric car,
Yeah.
or you're just someone who likes to know what's happening in the world,
Mm.
this deep dive is
Yeah.
going to give you some real insight
For sure.
into these critical minerals.
Yeah, it's like the foundation of a house.
Oh, okay.
You don't always see it,
Right.
but it's so important.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Right.
What makes a mineral critical? What is that?
A critical mineral, it is an element that's essential for technology,
Okay.
but it's subject to supply risks.
Mm.
So like the demand for these minerals is going way up
Why is that?
because we're trying to push for clean energy around the world,
Right.
but the supply,
Yeah.
it isn't really keeping up.
Oh, so we could have a bottleneck?
Yeah, it's possible.
So the IEA report,
Mm-hmm.
it lays out a few different scenarios for the future.
It does.
Right, they have a few.
And the most ambitious one
Yeah.
is the one where we get to net zero by 2050.
That's right, 2050 net zero.
In that one,
Yeah. What happens to demand?
the demand for these minerals,
Yeah.
it just explodes.
Explodes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're talking like
Yeah.
massive scale up of mining
Okay.
and refining.
Wow.
And that comes with a bunch of different challenges.
Of course.
Yeah, and risks.
Okay, well, before we get into all that,
Okay.
you mentioned EVs earlier.
I did.
You see that statistic about China
Oh, yeah.
in the report?
Yeah. 45% of cars sold in China this year.
This year?
This year could be electric.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
What does that mean for battery metals?
Well, that's the question.
Like, are we even ready for that kind of demand?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
So let's start with copper,
Okay.
sometimes called the metal of electrification,
Okay.
because it's in everything,
Like what?
from wiring to motors.
Wow. So,
Wow.
so more EVs means we need a lot more copper?
You got it.
Okay.
And get this.
Yeah.
The report says that demand for copper from EVs alone
Just EVs?
could increase 12-fold
More
by
than
2050.
12-fold?
Yeah.
But where's all that copper going to come from?
Well, right now,
Yeah.
a huge chunk of the world's copper
Yeah.
comes from one country,
Just one.
Chile.
Oh, wow.
And that makes it kind of vulnerable.
It does.
Right.
What if something happens there?
Big what?
Like a natural disaster?
Oh, yeah.
Or like political instability?
That would be bad.
It would be bad for the supply chain.
Yeah, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket.
It is exactly like
And
that.
on top of that,
Yeah.
the quality of the copper
Oh, yeah.
is going down.
And a lot of mine.
Yeah, in a lot of mines around the world. So
Yeah.
it means we need to dig up more
Cool.
to get the same amount of usable copper.
Okay, so we've got this copper problem potentially brewing.
Yeah?
What about lithium?
Lithium.
The white gold.
Yeah, the white gold of the EV revolution.
I imagine demand for that's going crazy as well.
You are absolutely right. Lithium demand is supposed to just skyrocket,
Because of
mainly because of electric cars.
all the cars, yeah.
Yeah, hitting the road.
Right, and the report acknowledges
They do.
that lithium production has been ramping up,
It has been.
but they warn
They do warn.
that we might not be able to keep up.
If things keep going like this,
So even with new mines,
yeah, even with new
it
mines,
might not be enough.
that's the concern.
And that's where it gets even more interesting.
It does.
Because the type of battery
Yes.
used in these EVs can impact the demand for different minerals.
Right. So, for example,
Yeah.
you have lithium iron phosphate batteries
Okay.
or LFP batteries.
LFP. Okay.
And they're becoming more popular.
What's so special about LFP?
Well, for one thing,
Yeah.
they're cheaper to produce.
Okay, that's good.
And maybe even more importantly,
Oh, yeah.
they don't need as much nickel and cobalt
Ah,
which are two other critical minerals
Wait,
that
wait.
have their own issues.
with supply.
Yeah, with the supply chain.
Okay, so the kind of battery we choose
Mm-hmm.
can actually shift the demand from one mineral to another.
It can.
That's so interesting.
It's fascinating.
So let's talk about nickel then.
Okay, nickel.
What's going on with nickel?
So Indonesia,
Yeah.
they're the main player in nickel right now.
Okay.
They use a method that's cheap,
Okay.
but it uses a lot of coal,
Oh.
coal-fired power plants.
So it's not very clean.
No, it's not very clean.
We need nickel for clean energy,
We do.
but the way we get it
yeah.
is not clean.
It's a bit of a trade-off.
That's a problem.
It is.
So it makes you think about
Yeah.
the ethics and the environmental problems
Mm-hmm.
of this whole industry.
Yeah, of the whole critical minerals industry.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then that brings us to cobalt,
Yeah, cobalt.
which has been in the news a lot.
It has.
Not always for good reasons.
Not always for good reasons, no.
What does the IEA report say about cobalt?
Well, they say that despite all the efforts
Mm-hmm.
to reduce the amount of cobalt in batteries,
Mm-hmm.
the demand's still going to go up.
It's still going to go up
A lot.
in the coming years.
Yeah.
And if I'm remembering correctly,
Yeah.
most of the world's cobalt comes from
The
the
DRC.
Democratic Republic of Congo.
That's right.
And that area has
Yeah.
some problems.
Yeah, a history of
If I'm-
instability and conflict.
So that's another one of those
Right.
single points of failure.
It is.
So it seems like we're talking about a balancing act here,
Yeah.
trying to get the minerals we need
Mm-hmm.
for clean energy,
Right.
but also thinking about
Yeah.
the ethical and environmental impacts.
You got it.
And they talk about logistics in the report as well.
Oh, yeah.
They talk about how hard it is
It's hard.
to get these minerals
Yeah.
from these sometimes remote mines
Yep.
to the factories
Right.
where they need to be processed.
Yeah.
And they talk about relying on trucks.
Yep.
And the roads are sometimes not very good.
They can be pretty fragile.
Like this whole web of interconnected things.
It is a web.
It's a puzzle.
It is a puzzle.
But the good news
Yeah.
is that the report doesn't just give us the problems.
No, they don't.
They offer some potential solutions.
They do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I'm ready for some good news here.
I hear you.
So what can we do
No.
to make sure we have enough of these minerals
Yeah.
to power this clean energy future,
Right.
but, without causing more problems?
Right. Without making things worse.
Yeah, how do we do that?
That's the key question, right?
Yeah.
So we need sustainable solutions.
Okay.
And the report really emphasizes diversification.
Okay.
So not being reliant.
On just a few countries.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about.
Like the eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
So if we're too dependent on one country
Yeah.
for a certain mineral
Right.
and something happens,
Okay.
like a political thing or
Right.
a natural disaster,
Yeah.
or even just like a trade policy change,
Yeah.
the whole supply chain can get messed up.
And that's not good for anyone.
Not good for anyone.
So what's the alternative?
Well,
Where else can we get these minerals?
the report says that we need to support projects
Okay.
in different places.
Okay.
So geographically diverse regions
So all over the place.
all over the place. Yeah.
So investing in new mines.
Yes, investing in new mines,
But also
making sure that those mines are doing things sustainably.
sustainably and responsibly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in countries that maybe haven't traditionally
Yeah.
been big in the mineral game.
Right.
So it's not just about finding new sources,
it's not just about finding them.
but it's about how they're extracted in
Yeah.
a way that's ethical
Yeah.
and environmentally sound.
Environmentally sound, yes.
And that brings us to recycling,
Recycling.
which is so important.
It's huge.
We can reduce our reliance on mining,
By getting better at reusing the stuff we already have.
the stuff that's already out there.
Yeah. Think about all the old electronics,
Yeah.
batteries,
Uh-huh.
even cars.
Yeah.
Just sitting in landfill.
And just sitting there.
It's like a gold.
It's like a gold mine of valuable materials.
So does the report give us any numbers on how much recycling can help?
They do.
Okay.
And they're pretty impressive.
Okay, what are they?
So they suggest that by 2040,
2040.
we could reduce primary supply requirements
Okay.
for key minerals.
For the important ones.
Yeah, by 10 to 30%,
Wow. Just by recycling.
just by getting better at recycling.
So like a third less mining.
A third less mining.
That's huge.
It's huge.
What about the benefits of that?
Well, think about the environment.
Yeah.
Less mining is good for the environment.
Right.
And it also means we don't have to spend as much money
Oh, on new
in
mine.
building new mines. Yeah,
That's a win-win.
it is a win-win.
But recycling alone can't solve the whole problem.
You're right. It can't.
So we got to think bigger.
We got to think bigger.
What else can we do?
Well, that's where technological innovation comes in.
Okay.
We can find ways to just not rely on certain minerals,
Okay.
like finding new materials.
New materials, yeah.
Yeah, for example, the report talks about batteries
Yeah.
and how we could have new kinds of batteries,
Like what?
like sodium-ion batteries.
Sodium.
Yeah, like table salt sodium.
Really?
Yep.
Hmm.
Sodium is way more abundant than lithium,
Interesting.
and it's cheaper.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So if we can figure out
Yeah.
how to make these sodium-ion batteries work really well,
Yeah.
it could really reduce how much lithium we need.
That would be amazing.
It would.
Wow. So it's not just about getting more.
No.
It's about being smarter.
Smarter about how we use it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that can even be like behavioral changes.
Yeah,
They talk about smaller electric cars.
they do.
Like if we all just drove smaller cars, we wouldn't need as much lithium.
It's true. We wouldn't need as big of batteries.
It's amazing how all this connects.
It's all connected. Yeah.
So we've got diversification.
Yes.
We've got scaling up recycling,
Uh-huh.
embracing new technologies.
Yeah.
What other big recommendations does the report have?
2 more big ones.
Okay.
Market transparency
Okay.
and policy interventions.
Right. Break those down for me.
Okay.
What's market transparency?
So basically, it's about having good information
Oh, okay.
about the whole critical minerals market.
Okay.
So things like pricing,
Okay.
production levels, trade flows,
Got it.
even the environmental and social performance of companies.
Ah. Okay. So we know what they're up to.
We know what they're up to.
And if we have that information,
Yeah,
we can make better decisions.
better decisions.
And the market will be more stable.
Exactly.
So no more shady deals.
Ideally, no.
Yeah.
The more transparent,
Yeah.
the less room for bad stuff.
Yeah.
It makes it fair.
Okay. So I see the value in that.
Yeah.
What about policy interventions then?
All right, so governments have a big role to play.
Okay.
They can make policies
Okay.
that incentivize responsible sourcing.
Okay.
They can support research and development.
Like for the new technologies?
Yeah, like the sodium-ion batteries.
Yeah.
And they can invest in infrastructure.
To make it easier to move this stuff around.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're talking tax breaks.
Yeah, tax breaks could be a good one.
For companies that are doing things the right way.
What are doing the right thing? Yeah.
Funding for research.
Funding research, yes.
Investing in new rail lines.
Yeah, or ports.
To make it easier to get those minerals where they need to go.
Yeah.
So it's about making sustainable production.
Yeah.
Good business.
Business, yeah.
And that's where those policy interventions come in.
That's right.
Using the power of the government
Yep.
to push the market in the right direction.
It's to steer the market.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they also talk about international collaboration.
Yes, very important.
Because this isn't just a problem for one country.
It's a global problem.
So we need global solutions.
We do.
It seems like this is a big shift
It is a shift.
in how we think about these resources.
Yeah.
It's not just about digging them up and selling them.
No, it's not just about that.
It's about the whole life
the
cycle
whole life cycle.
and making sure every step
Yeah.
is sustainable and equitable.
Sustainable and equitable. You got it.
It's like a whole new way of thinking.
It is a new way of thinking.
So no pressure.
Right.
But seriously, we're at a turning point here.
We are.
And the decisions we make now
Yes.
are going to have big implications.
Big implications for the future.
Yeah.
For the planet.
And the IEA report can help us make those decisions.
It's a valuable tool.
It lays out the complexity,
It does.
but it also gives us a way forward.
It does.
So I'm feeling a bit more optimistic.
That's good.
It's a big challenge,
It is.
but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
And the report gives us a starting point.
It does. It gives us a good place to start.
It's a complex challenge,
Yeah.
but it's not insurmountable.
It's not.
We just got to start somewhere.
Yeah. And it's a conversation that keeps going.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It's always
It's
evolving,
always evolving. Yeah.
so we got to stay informed,
We do.
engaged,
Engaged.
and adaptable
Adaptable. Yeah.
because things are always changing.
Things are changing fast.
We can't just set it and forget it.
No, we got to keep
I'm
learning.
learning, yeah.
Keep asking questions.
Asking questions.
Keep pushing for progress.
So the report's a great resource.
It is.
If you want to really get into this,
Yeah.
it's a lot to read,
It is a bit dense.
but it's got so much good information
It's full of insights.
to help us.
Yeah, to help us navigate this world.
The complex world.
The complex world of critical minerals.
Yeah,
It's fascinating.
it is. Welcome back to our deep dive into critical minerals.
We're back.
We've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah. There's a lot more to unpack.
But before the break, we were talking about the challenges.
The challenges.
And it can feel a little,
Overwhelming.
yeah, a little overwhelming, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I get that.
But The good news is
Yeah.
that the report gives us some solutions.
It does. It gives us a roadmap.
Okay, so where do we start?
Where do we start?
What can we actually do
Well,
to make sure we have enough of these minerals
yeah,
for this clean energy future?
right.
But, without
Without making things worse.
without causing more problems.
Right. We need sustainable solutions.
Right.
And one of the biggest things they talk about is diversification.
Okay.
So not relying on just a few countries.
Right, like that eggs in one basket thing
Exactly like the eggs in one basket.
we were just talking about.
Yeah, if we're too dependent on one country
Right.
for a specific mineral.
And something happens.
Yeah. Wait,
Politically,
or a
natural
A
disaster.
natural disaster.
Or even just like a trade policy change.
Okay. Yeah, even a small change could really mess things up.
That's not good for anyone.
Nope, not good at all.
So what's the alternative?
Well,
Where else can we get these minerals?
they talk about supporting projects
Okay.
in a bunch of different places,
Like all over the world?
geographically diverse.
Okay, yeah, so all
All over
over.
the place, yeah.
So investing in new
And
mines,
investing in new mines, yeah.
but also
But making sure that those mines are doing things the right way,
in a responsible way.
in a responsible and sustainable way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in countries that maybe haven't traditionally been
Yeah, countries that haven't been big players.
in this mineral market.
Right, exactly.
So it's not just about finding new sources.
It's not just about finding them.
It's also about
It's about how they're extracted.
how we get them out.
Yes, making sure it's done
Ethically.
ethically
And in an environmentally friendly way.
environmentally sound, yeah.
Yeah. And that brings us to recycling,
Recycling.
which is so important. Yeah, it's huge.
We can rely less on mining.
Yeah, we can reduce our reliance.
If we get better at reusing what we already have.
The stuff that's already out there.
Yeah. Think about all those old electronics.
I know, but-
Batteries.
Batteries.
Even cars.
Nothing.
Sitting in landfills.
Just sitting there.
It's like a gold mine.
It's like a treasure trove.
So does the report give us any numbers
They do.
on how much recycling can help?
They do. They give us some numbers.
What are they?
And they're pretty impressive.
Okay.
So they say by 2040,
2040.
we could reduce primary supply requirements
For the minerals that we really need.
for the key minerals, by 10 to 30%.
Wow.
Just by recycling.
Just by getting better at recycling.
Yeah, just by getting better at it.
So like a third less mining?
A third less mining potential.
That's amazing.
It's huge.
What about the benefits of that?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Less mining
Yeah.
is good for the environment.
Good for the planet.
And it also means we don't have to spend as much money. Oh, right, on new
And
mines.
not building those new mines. Yeah.
It's a win-win.
It's a total win-win.
But recycling alone
Recycling alone.
can't solve the whole problem.
You're right. It can't.
So we have to think bigger.
We got to think bigger.
What else?
That's where technological innovation comes in.
Okay.
We can find ways to reduce our reliance on certain minerals.
So like just not use them at all.
Yeah. Basic
Or find substitutes.
substitutes. Yeah.
So like new material.
New materials. Yeah.
Okay.
For example,
Yeah.
they talk about batteries in the report
Okay.
and how we could have new kinds of batteries,
Like what kind?
like sodium ion batteries.
Sodium.
Yes. So,
Table salt?
like table salt
Okay.
sodium. Exactly.
Really?
Yep. Sodium is a lot more abundant than lithium,
Interesting.
and it's cheaper too.
Well, that's good.
So if we can just figure out
Yeah.
how to make these sodium ion batteries work really well,
Yeah.
it could really change things.
It would be a game changer.
Yeah. It would be a game changer. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not just about getting more,
Oh.
it's about being smarter.
Smarter about how we use it.
Smarter about how we use it exactly.
And that could even include
Yeah.
like behavioral changes.
Behavioral changes.
They talk about smaller electric cars.
They do.
Like if we all just drove smaller cars, we wouldn't need as much lithium for those batteries.
That's true. We wouldn't need such big batteries.
It's crazy how this is all connected.
It's all connected.
So we've got diversification of where these minerals come from.
Diversification.
You've got scaling up recycling,
Recycling.
embracing these new technologies.
New technologies, yeah.
What other big recommendations are in the report?
Two more big ones.
Okay.
Market transparency
Okay.
and policy interventions.
Okay. Break those down for me.
All right, so market transparency.
Yeah.
Basically, it's about having good information
Okay.
about the whole market.
The whole critical minerals market.
Yeah, for critical minerals. So things like pricing,
Okay.
production levels, how much are we trading,
Yeah. Trade flows.
even how companies are performing.
Like environmentally and socially.
Environmentally and socially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know what they're up to.
We know what they're up to.
If we have all this information,
Yeah.
then we can make better decisions.
We can make more informed decisions.
And the market will be more stable.
It'll be more stable, yeah.
So no more shady deals.
Hopefully not.
the more transparent it is.
Yeah, the more
The
transparent.
less room for those kinds of things.
Exactly. It levels the playing field.
It makes it fair.
Makes it fair. Yeah.
I see the value in that.
Yeah.
What about policy interventions?
All right. So this is where governments come in.
Okay.
They have a big role to play.
How so?
They can make policies
Okay.
that incentivize responsible sourcing.
Yep.
They can support research and development.
Like for new technologies?
Like for new technology. Yeah, like for those sodium-ion batteries.
The sodium ion, yeah.
Yeah.
And they can even invest in
It's
infrastructure
infrastructure, yeah.
to make it easier to move these things around.
To make it easier to get the minerals where they need to go.
So things like tax breaks
Tax breaks could be a good one.
for the companies that are doing things the right way.
For the companies that are doing things the right way.
Funding research.
Funding research.
Building new rail lines.
New rail lines or ports.
to make it easier to transport these minerals.
Exactly.
So it's about making sustainable production
Yeah.
actually profitable.
Good business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the governments come in.
That's where the policies come in.
Yeah.
To kind of steer things in the right direction.
Yeah.
To give companies a reason to do the right thing.
They also talk about international collaboration.
International collaboration is huge.
This is a global problem.
It's a global problem.
It's not just one country.
You're all in this together.
So we need global solutions.
You global solutions, yeah.
It seems like this is a fundamental shift
It is a shift.
in how we think about these resources.
Yeah. It's a new way of thinking.
It's not just about digging them up and selling them.
It's not just about that anymore.
It's about the whole life cycle of a material
The whole life cycle.
and making sure that every step of the way
Every step of the way.
it's sustainable
It's sustainable
and equitable.
and equitable. You
A
got it.
whole new way of thinking.
It is a new way of thinking.
So no pressure,
No pressure.
but we're at a turning point.
We are at a turning point.
And the decisions that we make
Yeah, the decisions we make now
are going to have really big impact
need implications for the future.
for the planet.
For the planet.
And this IEA report can really help us.
It's a valuable tool.
It lays out all the complexity,
It does.
but it also gives us a way forward.
It gives us a roadmap.
I'm feeling a bit more optimistic.
That's good.
It's a big challenge,
It's a big challenge.
but it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
And the report gives us a starting point.
It gives us a place to start. Yeah.
It's complex, but it's not insurmountable.
It's not insurmountable.
We just got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
And it's a conversation.
It's a conversation.
It's constantly evolving.
And it's constantly evolving.
Things are changing.
Things are changing all the time.
We can't just set it and forget it.
We can't just set it and forget it.
We have to keep learning.
We have to keep learning.
Keep asking questions.
Keep asking questions.
Keep pushing for progress.
Keep pushing for progress. Exactly.
So the report's a great resource.
It is.
If you want to really get into this.
Yeah, if you want to learn more.
It's a lot to read,
It is a dense report.
but it's got so much good information
It's full of insights.
to help us.
Yeah, to help us understand this world.
This complex world of critical minerals.
Yeah, the complex world of critical minerals.
It's fascinating.
It's fascinating.
We're back, and I'm really excited to keep digging into this roadmap
Yeah.
that the IEA report gives us. We've talked about diversifying the supply chains, boosting recycling, and embracing all these new technologies.
It's all that good stuff.
But I'm wondering,
Yeah.
are there specific things that governments or companies or even just people,
Individuals.
individuals can do,
Yeah.
like right now,
Right now.
to make a difference?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
The report gets really specific
Okay, good.
about what we can all do.
Like what?
So for governments,
Yeah.
they say it's really important
Okay.
to make clear policies
Okay.
that encourage responsible sourcing.
So making it so that the companies
Yeah.
that are doing things the right way,
That are doing the right thing. Yeah.
ethically,
sustainably,
sustainably,
yeah.
environmentally,
Are rewarded for that.
so they have a reason to do it
Exactly. Give them a reason.
instead of cutting corners.
Yeah. Instead of doing things the cheap way or the easy way.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And there are a lot of ways to do that.
Like what?
Well, we could give tax breaks
Oh, okay.
to companies that are meeting certain standards.
Oh, okay.
You could streamline the permitting process.
So it's easier for them to get things done.
Exactly. Make it easier for the good guys
The good guys.
and harder for the bad guys
Yeah.
to do their thing.
And the report also talks about R&D.
Research and development.
Yeah, research and development.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Wow.
We need to keep innovating,
Okay.
finding new materials,
Right.
finding more efficient ways to do things.
So like with the sodium-ion batteries.
Yeah, exactly. Like those sodium-ion
The
batteries.
governments could fund that research.
They could play a key role
Yeah.
in getting those batteries to market.
And it's not just batteries, right?
It's not just batteries. No.
It's across the board.
All kinds of clean energy.
Yeah. How can we make solar panels better?
More efficient.
Yeah, more efficient.
How can we reduce the rare earth elements we need
Okay.
for wind turbines?
That's a big one.
Those are all areas where governments can really make a difference.
It's like investing.
It's like planting seeds.
Yeah, planting seeds for the future.
For a better future.
And speaking of planting seeds,
Yeah.
what about education?
Education.
Training people.
Workforce development.
Yeah, workforce development.
Yeah, that's crucial.
Why is that so important?
Well, we need skilled workers.
Okay.
People who understand this industry.
Yeah.
Who are committed to doing things the right way.
So like the next generation.
The next generation, yeah.
Of
miners,
engineers, scientists who are going to lead us to this clean energy future.
Exactly.
But it's not just about the technical stuff.
No, it's not just about the technical skills.
It's also about
It's about the mindset.
the mindset, yes.
It's about creating a culture of responsibility.
So instead of just extracting.
Yeah, instead of just get it out of the ground.
At all costs.
At all costs, yeah.
It's about
doing it the right way.
sustainably.
Sustainably
Yeah.
and ethically.
And consumers have a role to play too.
We all have a role to play.
What can we do?
Well, we can support the right company.
With our wallets.
With our wallets, yeah.
We can recycle our electronics.
Recycle responsibly.
And we can tell our governments.
Yeah, we can advocate.
Yeah, we can advocate for policies.
Or better policies.
That promote this sustainable and equitable critical minerals industry.
Exactly.
We all have a part to play.
We do.
It's not just the governments and the big companies.
Well, it's all of us.
Yeah, it's all of us working together.
Working together towards a common goal.
And we're at a turning point.
We are.
The decisions we make today are going to shape the future.
They're going to shape the world of tomorrow.
So this report is a really good resource.
It's a great starting point.
If you want to learn more.
Yeah, if you want to learn more.
About all of this.
About all of this.
It's a bit of a dense read.
It is a dense report.
But it's full of great insights.
It's packed with information.
And can help us all.
It can help us all, yeah.
Make sense of all of this.
Make sense of this complex world.
Yeah, this complex world of critical minerals.
Yeah, and the choices we make today.
Yeah.
They're going to shape the world of tomorrow.
That's a good note to end on, I think.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course.
And thanks to all of you out there for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.